Today is such an exciting day for me. Like, wow, it's so exciting. So, I have just completed my Dig Deeper coaching in Theta Healing. So, if you have been following my videos and if you haven't, all of them are in the playlist, the Theta Healer playlist. So, you can check them there all together. But I've taken you through the journey for why I decided to become a Theta Healer and then started with the basic DNA training, which is just exceptional. There is nothing basic about the basic training. It's incredible. And then I've done advanced and I've done dig deeper. And then next weekend, I am going to do You and the Creator, which is amazing. Even just my psychic ability, like I'm a born intuitive and I've been born with as a very clear channel. But through this coaching, it is just something amazing. And then after that, I'm actually doing 15-day very in-depth coaching called Intuitive Anatomy. I can't even wait to start it. It's so amazing. But in this video today, I want to speak to you about, and it's a little bit in reverse because I'm doing this on my phone, Theta Healing, Digging for Beliefs by Vina Seibel. So this is the book for the coaching itself. All right. Now, so when you do this coaching, you as an individual, you develop so much. You release so many patterns within yourself that you were not aware of. I mean, I must tell you honestly, especially with the Dig Deeper coaching, which goes over 2 days, I have discovered so many genetic patterns that are still, existing within me, things that are blocking me, things in my subconscious mind that I was really, really surprised. And I really, really want to tell you about this because this is so transformative. It is so positively life unlocking, golden key unlocking. It is just incredible. So welcome to this video. My name is Adrian Nelson. I'm a life transformation guide, not a coach, because I don't really believe that there's anything that you need to be coached. And I wouldn't even really say a facilitator because, a facilitator is a nice word, but you're working with the creator. I'm just a guide. I feel that I just guide you in the direction of your own heart. And I would say the thing with Theta Healing is, whether you are called to have a session or whether you are called to take this coaching, you will be looking for something. And I have been looking for something and I've been actively asking for something. And I've been asking universe, I need a change, I need a difference because, for those of you that's been following the channel, you will know that I have been a quantum regression hypnosis practitioner for the last 5 years. I'm exceptionally proud of it. I've had miracles, breakthroughs, such beautiful things that have been happening. But the commonality that I've had with all the sessions is that nobody had a problem with the price. Everybody felt that it was taking too long. And also in my personal capacity, I was getting bored. I felt that I wanted to be able to provide my clients with something that was more sort of directional, because with regression hypnosis, I'll make a video about that, regression hypnosis sort of like versus Theta Healing. But with regression hypnosis, you very much follow the subconscious mind. You still direct it, but you pretty much follow it, Whereas with Theta Healing, you guide the subconscious mind. And that is why I would say the work that you can, now I really don't want you to hear me wrong. Regression hypnosis, quantum regression hypnosis, it is just amazing. It is amazing, But what I found is that what would take me sort of like 3-4 hours to achieve in a regression hypnosis session, and maybe even over a series of sessions, I can now achieve in like 45 minutes in a Theta Healing session. So I really, really love that. I really, really love that. It's just amazing because I am very passionate about helping people. It makes me happy. It makes me happy, the idea to use my life in service of other people in a healthy way. To be a good ancestor. The legacy in life that I would like to leave behind, if I can leave any legacy behind, I would like to leave a legacy of empowering other people, helping them to become the best versions of themselves, to discover their own magic and to develop. In order to obviously do that, I need to be willing to do that for myself as well. And I'm telling you, not a word of a lie, this Dig Deeper coaching it will trigger you. Like it will really, really trigger you. At some point, I actually felt like I was just gonna, like, burst into tears. I was like, oh my goodness. But here's the thing about that. A lot of us don't want to look at our dark sides. We don't want to look at the things that are not working. But the thing about that is that these things still have an effect on your life. And these are the reasons why, this pain that we carry inside of us that we're not aware of, generational pain, inherited pain, ancestral pain from the forefathers, karma, that sort of things. That is the reason why a lot of times, no matter how hard we try, things are just not working out for us, The last couple of videos I spoke about how in Theta Healing, the healing approach is on all four the belief levels that we have as human beings. The core level, the genetic level, the history level, and the soul level. So whether the pattern that, the belief in your mind, because when something happens over and over, it forms a pattern, it forms a belief, and then it becomes a truth for you. And because it's a truth, your subconscious mind has to acknowledge it. And then that contributes towards your experience of life, which can be really, really beneficial or really, really disadvantageous. And a lot of times we have this feeling almost like, we kind of begin to sometimes feel like failures in our lives. It's almost like there's some malicious energy out there, that is just sort of like vindicating us left, right, and center. It can really, really begin to feel like that, like we are villainized by life. And when you can open yourself to the idea that a lot of times you are having that experience because of your subconscious truth within your mind, which probably like 99.9% of the time is inherited beliefs. All of us have trauma in our genetic lines. All of us. Because if you just take yourself, however long you've been on this planet, and you don't even need to be old, but if you are older, you will know because you've seen a lot of life, that things happen, scary things happen. In my lifetime, I just turned 42 the other day, but in my lifetime, I have seen the lockdowns with COVID. I have seen racism. I have seen violence. I have been bullied, emotionally, mentally, physically. I went to trauma, and trauma is even like, maybe going to school, going to a different school when you move and you're young and you don't have a say in it. You feel like you have no power. And your subconscious mind can take that on as a belief. So you go into life and you realize that you don't have any power. And also, speaking of power, such an amazing story, because when you begin to do this work, you start to get really instantaneous manifestations. So very good things or very bad things can happen. So you really want to watch your thoughts. So in Cape Town, it has been raining for probably almost the last 2 weeks, quite torrential rain. I'm talking about 100% rain. Heavier rainfalls than probably like in the last 30 years or something like that, I've been saying. And it's been flooding everywhere. And, people's had all sorts of, troubles and things that were happening. But because I believe within myself that I am protected and guided by source, by the universe, by the creator, that all that is. Here's the amazing thing about that. Even though there were all sorts of floods and everything around me, not very far from me, I wasn't affected by any of those things at all, not in the slightest. And the internet that I have is LTE internet, so basically a modem with a SIM card inside. And something synonymous with that is that, if the weather's bad, then normally you get either bad reception or you get dropouts or stuff like that. So this coaching ran over 2 days, and it's about what is it, like 6 hours, 7 hours, basically 6.5, because there's breaks in between. And I remember I went through all of this coaching, and I just decided I'm not going to worry about it. If it drops out, I was just going to put it in my phone, and I'm just going to make it work. So I'm not going to think about that. And because what you think about, you bring about. So I think it was less than 10 minutes, so maybe like the last 7 or 8 minutes of the class, because you go in these breakout rooms and you do sessions for each other, and it's really, really cool. Because you can feel the energy, and the more you do it and you work with each other, because it's a beautiful, safe space. And I'm very lucky because I have an exceptional teacher. I always get the best teachers with everything I do. That is just, I'm very lucky. I've always been. So there's the link for my teacher down below in the description. You can check out her page. Her name is Nianell. She is exceptional, But anyway, so I remember these last 7 or 8 minutes, I was thinking to myself, that's amazing. no dropouts. I immediately got a dropout, just like that. That is how powerful your thoughts become. And the thing is, when you can get to see how powerful your thoughts are, because I'm telling you, born psychic or not, my psychic ability has shot through the roof. You know, I have always been very hesitant to the point of outright refusing to do mediumship for people. It's very simple for me to do mediumship because I see spirits in the same way that I see living beings around me. In fact, as a child, I have been incredibly confused by the whole concept of death. I couldn't wrap my mind around it. I could never understand why people were so sad, and I just couldn't get it. I couldn't understand, for example, how, let's say, I grew up in the country. So whatever happens, wedding, funeral, 21st, baptism, whatever, you there. You go, you attending. And as a child, you obviously go where your parents tell you to go. And that was my environment. So it was sort of like it went without saying. But anyway, so um, I would spirits often attend their own funerals. It is just the thing. They attend their own funerals. They like say maybe you have these services, and in the country where I grew up, like on the country, I mean, like I grew up in South Africa, but I grew up like in the country itself, the countryside. So we would always have these sort of like morning sort of like services, like morning like that. And usually every evening and during the daytime, people would be at the house supporting the family. So as a child, I never understood this because there is what would be a corpse, either there or not there, that looks like you, and you kind like a corpse kind of looks in a bed like they look quite shit, you know. And I suppose that's why they do a lot of makeup and stuff on a corpse, because you literally dead meat. But then I wouldn't understand, because the person would be there and I wouldn't see you as a spirit. I would see you as a person, and you would be in your prime, and we would be chatting to it. When I say chatting to each other, we wouldn't normally verbally speak. It would be sort of like telepathic. But because I've been born with the ability, I never questioned it, and I assumed that other people have the same thing. So it would always be very confusing to me that people are so sad and they're like the person's gone, and I just couldn't understand it, you know? But anyways, so what I do know though is that you don't want to be messing with energies, because the thing is, through some of my own experience, and I am very open to learning through other people's experiences. I used to be incredibly stubborn when I was young, but I learned, thank goodness, young enough, when I kind of got to like my 30s, I learned that it's better to learn from other people's experiences than have to go through everything yourself all the time, you know. Um, and I don't know, people just always seem to like be very strange to me, you know. But I don't know what I wanted to say. But anyways, so this coaching, it it helps you to gain a deeper understanding of other people. And it was quite amazing actually, because I like kindness. And when I say kindness, I mean I'm not prepared to be a doormat. I'm not going to let anybody step over me and be like, I'm so kind. Because sometimes what can also happen, and this can quite easily happen in very sort of like spiritual communities, that you are ever so humble, but you are so humble that that itself actually becomes ego. So you want to be watching out for that as well, because your first priority is towards yourself. But because you do so much personal clearing and healing in yourself over these 2 days, actually with all the coaching, you just this clear channel. I mean, I did a session for, I did a Theta Healing session for my best friend of like more than 20 years. And, I did the session for, and I remember when the session was done, and that was at the end of advanced Theta Healing coaching, which I made a video about. She was like, buddy, is this what you've been learning? Because you kind of just, I can't even describe it. And I was early on when I said I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I was going to speak about the psychic mediumship and that sort of things. You learn how to channel directly from the creator of all that is, from the seventh plane of existence. So there's, a lot of times, because I didn't always understand this, And I've been asking the universe to guide me, because a lot of times, when we work with crystals, and fairies and angels and guides and guardians and deceased loved ones, there's nothing that says you can't work with them, but between the planes, there's always an energy exchange. And that is something that was really profound for me, because being a Reiki master, I always knew about a fair energy exchange, but the way that I understood it, because unfortunately Reiki has become one of those things that, sometimes when you bring things into the West, it just becomes very wishy-washy, watered down. And people have these fly-by-night weekend courses that just irks me, because it's irresponsible. And when you work with energy, you want to be responsible. Okay, because otherwise there can be bad consequences, and that is how you get psychics that are fat, that always get sick, that always have personal problems, always have emotional, even like, to the degree of mental problems, because the fair energy exchange is between the planes. We are on the third plane of existence, so whether we're like 3 to 5D or whatever, it's just a consciousness that we are aware of, but we're already connected to everything. Okay, there is no separation. Everything is us and we are everything. All right. And even with that, I would say, just with the start of a Theta Healing session, I'm talking about the first 10 minutes, you're guided into this beautiful session that would normally take like Tibetan monks like years and years of practice to reach, and then might not even be able to maintain. So it's really, really amazingly put together. When you just connect with that, all that is energy. In Kundalini, they're talking about it like, if I remember correctly, and I do speak under correction here, but you kind of, go through Brahma's cave. So you kind of get into that space of all and nothing. And that can be a very scary space. That can be a terrifying space. People can have mental meltdowns with that space, And a lot of times, when people are actually declared clinically insane, it is that they are aware of everything that's happening around them, but they don't know how to deal with it or to relate to it, and people think they're crazy, But with Theta Healing, that's not the case. It is beautiful, it is calming, it's serene, it makes you see all of who you are, what you are connected to. It's such a beautiful thing, and that is just the beginning of the session. So it starts off with a very powerful, really positive, very soul-pleasing bang. It's a good bang, it's a good bang. And so I have always said that I wouldn't do mediumship, because I wasn't interested in having those experiences that those people are having, But I've learned in Theta Healing how to do it. And when I had a session with my friend, and my best friend, she's amazing, but she's an Aquarius. And Aquarius, if you know anything about Aquarius people, or even just strong Aquarius in your chart, they're not going to give you empty praise. They're going to give you constructive criticism. They're the most wonderful, loving, kind people, but they're not going to try to impress you with fluff, which is something that I really appreciate about them. And also my moon is in Aquarius, which means my emotions operate as an Aquarius does, So I would rather want you to tell me the truth. Obviously constructively, it's just amazing. It's incredible. It's incredible. So the thing about the, so it's called Digging for Beliefs, but when you take the course, it's called Dig Deeper. And in order to do it, you need to have done the basic DNA, and then to do the advanced, and it's like layers. It follows on top of each other. So with basic, as I said, there's nothing basic about the basic. It is just mind-blowing. It is transformative. It is, I almost can't describe in words how incredible it is, And what for me is such a beautiful, wonderful thing is that I do these sessions for people, because in the last maybe two weeks since I just started, for everybody that was going to be like hypnotherapy clients, I like, can I do this for you? Can we do this? And it has just been so amazing, and you are able to go to such deep levels, because in Theta Healing we work with the bottom leaf, or called the key belief, which also in regression hypnosis will be called the core initiator. But remember, with regression hypnosis, you basically follow the subconscious mind. So you have to get the mind, you have to like maneuver it to get you to that space, whereas with Theta Healing, you go straight to it. And you always work with the creator. You always work with the highest energy, where there is no exchange, because all just is. And if everything just is, there's nothing to exchange, because you are with the creator, with the all that is energy. And I mean, I have been doing sessions for people, and it is so personally rewarding for me because I love what I do. It makes me very happy. I love helping people. I've got a real passion for it, which is why I wanted something more fulfilling. And this is the key. This is the golden key to making money. When you can find something that makes you happy, making money and keeping money, you can find something that really makes you happy. Doesn't matter what you do. You will make the money and you'll keep the money, and whatever is not in alignment with that, it will come up for you to help you to be able to, to not self-sabotage. And that is the great thing about Theta Healing. So whether you are dealing with grief or, struggling with confidence or motivation, whatever it really is, a health issue, relationships, it really doesn't matter what your problem is. I want you to hear me with your heart, not with your head. It is inconsequential what your problem is, because your problem is a manifestation. It is a consequence of a deeper belief. So if you want to think of beliefs, you can think of the bottom belief, and then the beliefs are built on top of it. So if you kind of think of a tower of blocks, all right? But all of those blocks, all of those life experiences, all of those challenges, all of those unpleasantries are built on the bottom belief, on the key belief, which is called the core initiator in regression hypnosis. So you go through the core initiator, because when you resolve the core initiator, whatever the problem, the subsequent problem of it is, that is automatically resolved because it's built on that. And so you may, for example, in the book there's many examples, and the wonderful thing is when you buy the book, nothing is hidden from you in Theta Healing. Nothing is hidden from you. The book gives you all the details. But when you do the coaching, ooh la la, it is almost like the book is a smokescreen for something amazing, even though nothing is hidden. Literally nothing is hidden from you. Okay? It's such an amazing thing, and it teaches you just how to dig deeper, and how patterns can, how they can sort of like disguise themselves. Because you may, for example, think that you are dealing with something like this. So let's say, for example, somebody come to you. A lot of people have a lot of challenges with love. Love, it's usually relationships, health, and money. And money is career and confidence and everything that goes with it. Health is even just how you feel stable within yourself. Relationships is like romantic relationships, but it's really the relationship with yourself, the relationship with life, the relationship with your past, the relationship with your ancestors. All of those things. Essentially, it all comes down to relationships. At the end of the day, that's essentially what everything comes down to. Imagine, just think about it. Just imagine. You can go for session after session after session to speak to somebody about how you feel, and there's a real power in speaking, to speak to somebody about how you feel, to do a little bit of mind coaching here and a little bit of mind coaching there, but that can go on for months. It can go on for years. Sorry about the dogs. It can go on for years, and you still don't really get there. Whereas the idea with Theta Healing is to get to the bottom belief that is causing you to have the inconvenience, to resolve that so the problems dissipate. Really think about it. I'm just going to put this on pause for a bit. Alright, just the rubbish people outside that's cleaning the bins. So, I want to read you a couple of things from this book. Now, I'm telling you, this book is filled with golden nuggets across the board. And also the Theta Healing instructors, they are exceptionally well trained. There is a really high level of expertise that is maintained in Theta Healing coaching. So it's not these fly-by-night things. And again, I don't know everybody. Obviously, I'm quite new to this, even though my soul has definitely brought me here. You meet your soul family members in this coaching. It is just next level. It is just so amazing. But for example, something that I got is that fear can begin in the past, but it's always in the future. And what that means is that there's something that is driving your fear. Your mind is telling you something. And the fear itself that you experience, the thing that you are afraid might happen, is actually future projected. So you are afraid in the now that because of something in the past, Because to the mind, everything is true. So because of a truth in the past, a belief in the past, something's going to happen in the future, and then you can block yourself from wonderful things happening. All right? As my amazing coach likes to say, the subconscious mind is very funky. Okay? I think that's also what I really enjoyed about this coaching with my particular coach, and there's a link for in the description, is that she's very passionate about what she does, and I love passion, but it's not the sort of passion that's going to drain you. She's also a singer and a songwriter, so she's got that real, like feel of the heart, it's connection of the soul. She really wants you to win. She really wants you to succeed. Which is amazing. It is just amazing. It's amazing. I believe that the best coaches in life are the coaches that want to empower you to such a level that you do not need them going forward. I believe that to be the best coaches. All right? Because they don't have any funky sort of like, ideas about, trying to create codependency and I'm your coach. And I've come across some coaches like that before that would get outright upset when, maybe they've been studying something with you and then you kind of progress in it, like something like Reiki or something. And then, when you progress, you decide to go with someone else. So people get very upset about it. But that's because, maybe you've got a fear and a limitation within yourself. Okay? And the biggest fear, for example, that people have is that of becoming nothing, of being nothing. Fear describes it, like sort of hides itself in many ways. You may, for example, come to me because, let's say you've got a health problem. It's very interesting with health problems, especially very terminal things like cancer, for example. The question is never what you have. The question is why are you having what you're having? And a lot of times you will maybe get that, maybe somebody's partner left them, partner, husband, wife, whatever it is. You feel lonely, you don't feel support, your children are far away, you feel isolated, you kind of feel like nothing, which is the biggest fear that we have. But when you create this illness, then you get the closeness, the companionship of your loved ones, maybe even strangers. And because of that, you might not even realize that you're creating the illness. Then sometimes you might not even realize you might be coming to me for a session for the illness, but you may not want to let the illness go because it's giving you something that's safe. So it might sound a little counterintuitive, but one of the first things we want to look at is what is the benefit, technically what is the virtue that your brain believes that it is getting from your problem, whatever your concern may be. Because there is a reason why your mind is keeping it in place. It believes that it's getting something from it. And so we have in Theta Healing something that we call belief work, which is very powerful. Because, you can do healing, and healing. Like if you looked at some of my other videos, healing the broken soul, sending love to the baby in the womb, in those I speak a lot about, you can go for healing in and out, but it will be futile. Because the bottom belief, the key belief, the core initiator is not addressed. So you want to know why you're holding on to something. And you want to understand that you can replace it with something better. And what does it feel like? So there's a lot of downloads that take place. Like literally so I would say to you, all right, so what does it feel like? And when you can feel what it feels like, your mind can consciously accept it at all the different belief levels and release it on the other belief levels. Then you can do positive reaffirmation, like positive reinforcement, basically, and teach you some beautiful positive reinforcement things that can really help you. For example, the heart song. I think I made a video on the heart song, or I meant to do it. But when I did it, I didn't even realize that how much, emotions I was carrying around inside of me. I assumed that I was cool, We don't know because the subconscious mind blinds you. And I'm telling you, one session can change your life forever. If you sign up for a series of sessions, think about it like this. This is the question that I would ask people. How much would you like to change, and how willing are you, what are you willing to put into it or for it? How willing are you to grow? How willing are you to expand? Because until you don't, you're going to keep on having the bad experiences. You're going to keep on giving money to other people. You're going to keep on being disrespected. You're going to keep on feeling unfulfilled. Even with grief is a big one. Because there's healthy grief and there's unhealthy grief. And a lot of times when we have unhealthy grief, which means you can still feel the feelings and the hurt and everything, but you are able to function throughout your life eventually. But if years and years and years pass, and for many people the grief gets worse because they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know that it's safe for them to deal with it. And here's the big one. A lot of times that is genetically driven. Because remember, as human beings, we are born pre-programmed like mobile software. You buy a cell phone, it's got pre-installed software. You know what I mean? But you can do something about it. So I would say majority of the problems that we have are genetic. When you look at something like epigenetics, for example, which I am highly fascinated by, it lets you understand how you are just a copy of your parents. And they are a copy of their parents and their parents and their parents. So a lot of things are laying in your lineage. So you may go 7 generations back, and maybe your family was, they didn't believe that it was safe for them to be confident. Maybe they were slaves or captives or, minority or poor or whatever the case may be, a worker class. And even if they're from a different country, especially I find that if you have a group that left, like for example in South Africa we have that, for example, with the Indians. The Indians didn't leave India and come to South Africa and settle in Durban because they were not so completely happy back home, so they decided to leave. It was a heart-wrenching thing. And then for a lot of the majority, what they hoped to get here, they didn't get. So there's there's all of their trauma that is carried forward from generation to generation, which is very interesting when you speak about past lives, because we have this idea that you're born and you die, you start and you end. But consciousness just changes shape. It's like with energy. It can neither be destroyed nor created, but it can just be altered. Same thing, different ways. It's like an egg. You can do many things with an egg, but an egg is an egg. I'm wearing this jersey right now, or sweater, wherever you live in the world. And then on other videos, I'm wearing something different. If I take this off right now, and I, for example, put on a green jersey, which I have, which I nipped from my mother. I actually nipped this jersey from someone as well, from a friend. But it's still me. And so we have this idea that when you die, you are gone, and when you are born, you are new. But consciousness always exists. And here is the thing to realize, is that you don't have life. You are life. You are life expressing itself through human form. You consist, I've said this in videos before, but every time I hear it and every time I remind someone else of it, it is just like something profound happens for me. You consist of trillions of cells that are an exact or pretty much exact replica of our entire universe, planets, Earth, the works. And those trillions of cells have one common goal. They work together towards one common goal, and that is to form the oneness that is you. You carry universes inside of you. You consist of universes. And if you can think about it, just imagine that. Imagine if suddenly, let's call it God. You can use whatever word you want to use, but suddenly God just speaks to you. That is how your cells in your body respond to your thoughts, to your focus. It is incredibly important what you focus on. But it is very hard to focus in a beneficial, constructive way when you do not understand what it is that is sort of like, knocking you at the knees. This is where Theta Healing comes in. You get to understand what it is that is withholding from you the desires of your heart, because the soul didn't come here to suffer. The soul, you can grow and you can expand through your life without suffering. But then you first need to understand what is it that causes you to suffer. You can say, well, I choose not to suffer any longer. And your subconscious mind will say, okay, that's very cute, but that's not who you are. So it will entertain you, but it won't support you because it goes against the core belief of who you are. Until you can understand what it is, release it on all 4 the belief levels and accept a different belief system or belief level. Then you have a different world. I mean, if you ever notice, and I used to see this so much when I lived in Central Cape Town, taking my doggie for a walk. When I'm in a very aggro mood, I get all the aggro people. The people with the bulldogs that are not on leashes, and the unfriendly people and all those sort of things. But when I'm in a great mood, I don't even see those bulldogs. I don't even meet those people because my energy is not in alignment with theirs. You know, you determine your own experience of life. I get the people like, oh, what a cute doggy is, so cute. You know, pay attention to look at it when you have had a good day or a bad day, problems, no problems, smooth sailing, not smooth sailing. What mindset were you in? When you woke up in the morning, you say, oh God, we're going to work again. Another day, another dollar, same stuff. Oh. Then you have the same day over and over. Until sometimes maybe you get excited because your birthday's around the corner. You know, something like that. Maybe your child's getting married, or you're going to see someone that you're excited about. Or, you know, I remember when Game of Thrones was playing, I was very excited. Other people were as well, so the world was actually better. You know? Case in point, when people are in love, their lives always go better because they're connecting to a high vibing energy of love. It's amazing. All right? Here's how the mind works. So it says that the mind goes to work and speculates on the future that it thinks is going to happen. And it says, if that happens, then this will happen. And if this happens, then that will happen. And, you know, and it just creates the same thing over and over. And you can't understand why the mind sabotages you. So there's a lot of really powerful, there's a lot of really powerful words and phrases and things that you learn in Theta Healing. And again, it's in the book. So you can buy the book, you know, and you can read the book. But I'm telling you, nothing, not a single thing compares to the coaching. And then, well, maybe what the thing does compare to the coaching that's even better for me is that when you do a session and you get to see how positively this impacts someone's life. This person is going to have a better life going forward. It is such a divine honor, you know, to be able to do such work, to help people to live a better experience of their own lives, to reach their potential, to grow without the need to sabotage themselves or suffer or always have loss. And if you've been going through cycles of, you know, getting, not getting, working, not working, then there's a reason for that. If you are, let's say, for example, a pattern that I used to have, is that when I do really, really well, I'll do really, really great until I begin to kind of almost, you know, have that excitement like, oh, I finally made it. Things are going to work out for me. And then something would happen to kind of set me back even further. Because I had beliefs within myself, many genetic beliefs that I'm telling you through this deeper coaching, it sort of really surprised me that I've got so many genetic beliefs in my life that are disadvantaging me, that are sabotaging me, that are preventing me from having the experience of life that I would like to have. And I've been doing a lot of work on myself through the years, you know. And when you get to understand what this is, you know, it's a thing with like knowledge. Knowledge is a potential for power. Because once you understand what you're dealing with, you can actually do something about it. But until you understand what you are doing with this, there's nothing you can do. Like me coaching, got like lots and lots of notes. I like to write things down. And you really, you know, if you are interested in really helping people, this is a wonderful modality to study and to offer to people. You know, because here's also the thing, just to practitioners. When you do something really, really well, people's going to notice. People's going to ask these people, what have you been doing? Your life is different. Well, they're going to tell other people, you know. Because what sometimes can happen very much in the sort of like spiritual, holistic wellness, sort of self-help community, you know, we can sometimes begin to build codependent relationships with other people because you're afraid if you let them go, where you're going to get new clients from, where you're going to get the money from. But, you know, it's so amazing with Theta Healing. You get to understand how to order the exact clients that you want in the way that you want it. You order them like you order them off an a la carte menu. And you can do that for everything in life. You get to understand how to manifest really powerfully, you know, so that you don't manifest and get what you want to get, and then you get it, you're like, oh goodness, this is not what I want. Your psychic ability goes next level. Your confidence goes next level. Your motivation automatically expands because the things that demotivated you before, the patterns on your four, belief levels that demotivated you before, those patterns are no longer existing. You know, so whether you want to be a practitioner, whether you want to be an instructor, whether you just want to come for a session, if you want to come to me, my contact details are down below in the description. And I just want to also let you know, there is this belief that people have that that an in-person session is more powerful than an online session. That is how the mind will sabotage you. And it's just a behavioral belief because we've been believing for years that things are better in person than online. Because when you think about it, in the equation of the world, online is a very new concept to the mind, to the collective consciousness. And the mind has the way of, rejecting things. When it doesn't know, it's going to be like, no, this is familiar, this is a threat, it's not going to work. But if you have the courage to be brave and you really want to change your life, I'm going to encourage you to book a Theta Healing session for yourself. It could be with me, it could be with another practitioner. I'm just sharing the knowledge here, I'm just here sharing the knowledge. If you feel called to me, by all means, go ahead, book with me. No worries, we can do it. If you feel called to doing this work, but you want to do it with someone else, go search online. Go find a practitioner for you, And because, there's more than enough sunshine for everyone, okay? Here's something that I want to share with you. This is a way to know, a lot of people want to know about divine timing. Am I in my divine timing? When you're in divine timing, first of all, that's a state of surrender. Things just work because you're in alignment with your life. And divine timing doesn't imply that, people have these ideas, I have to suffer for God, and, I have to suffer because I have been born to be this light, and this bullshit. Those are concepts that have been placed in your mind by people that wanted to control you for their own selfish gain. All right? Like the Roman Catholic Church, basically, they chopped and changed the Bible to their benefit, for their stuff. Okay? This is not an attack on religion, it's just the truth. Okay? So here's the thing to know whether you are in alignment with your heart's desires or not. When something makes you feel bad, you are believing a lie about yourself. And when something is feeling good, then you're believing a truth about yourself. Now, there's obviously a lot that can be said around that, but it's just incredible. It's exceptional. I cannot wait to, to study the next one, which is You and the Creator, which is even more channeling directly with Source. And your psychic ability is going next level. And then Intuitive Anatomy is, the 15-day course, which is all about, you go through the different layers of the mind and you release, because within our physicality, we are energy, so we bury thoughts. Because remember, time and space carries energy, carries memories. So you carry memories inside of you, and that is also why I decided to become a massage therapist, But now those massages are just going to be next level. I haven't even started them yet. So, yeah, I just wanted to share with you. And I want you to be as excited about life as I am. And, if I can be of assistance to you and if I resonate with you, reach out, book a session. You have got so much to gain and so little to lose. Sometimes, for example, a lot of times people will say, like, I want to have a session, but, I don't really have the money. Here's something amazing about that. Whatever's blocking the money for you is most likely going to be cleared in the session as well. That is the magical thing, along with some other things. So you might even lose some problems that you'd never know that you had. Cool jazz. All right, I'll see you on the next video. I look forward to your comments. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. From my heart, namaste, love and light. Bye.